Devin Vassell gets his money. On top of that, Joel Embiid makes decisions about the 2024 Olympics. We're going to talk about both those topics, plus Paul George and his contract extension talks with the Los Angeles Clippers. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host here, Haize, one of the hosts holding it down for the squad. You guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. We're going to first up talk about Devin Vassell. He just signed a $135 million contract over 5 years with the San Antonio Spurs to stay there as they are moving forth into the next era of that team with Victor Wembanyama there. Makes sense. They are now paying Devin Vassell. They're going to take advantage of Wemby being on that rookie scout contract as long as they can, right? So when you look at it, the deal also has $11 million in incentives, right? Has no options. So this is a straightforward, a structured contract. So at the end of the day, the most that he's going to be paid in 2024-25 is going to be $29.3 million. Now, Devin Vassell is another one of those players that Greg Popovich has developed. And this is why most NBA fans are happy to see a player like Victor Wembanyama go to the San Antonio Spurs, because when you look at Devin Vassell, came into the league, started 62 games his rookie year. Started 7 out of 62 games his rookie year, only getting 5 shots per game. But then when you look at that next year, right, his second season in the league, getting 10.8 shots per game, hitting that at a 42% clip, averaging 12 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, right under 2 assists, over a steal per game. And then last year, putting it all together, being an even more big part of that team's offense, right? After Dejounte Murray leaves that team, he starts 32 out of 38 games played, dealt with some injury concerns in that. But in that time, 15 shots per game, 18.5 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists, still that 1.1 steals per game, and hitting the three-pointer, taking 7 three-pointers a game, hitting that at a 38% clip. Devin Vassell is a player with a lot of promise, still only 23 years old. And when you look at the future of that San Antonio Spurs team, the future is bright. Yes, it's bright in part because you have a player like Victor Wembanyama down there, right? And what he's going to mean for that team being only 19 years old. And like I said, the San Antonio Spurs being able to take advantage of that rookie scale contract for as long as possible. But on top of that, they still got Keldon Johnson down there, right? Still got Malachi Branham, who's another player that in that draft that he was in, very high on that player. The San Antonio Spurs are a very young team. And so, when you look at the fact that they locked in Greg Popovich to the extension that they did, Jeremy Sohan's another player down there, they're going to really get an honest look at how these players are going to develop, because they have a coach like Greg Popovich down there who you trust is going to get and maximize on the potential of all those players. And so, shout out to Devin Vassell for getting paid. This is a player that, as Pop has put more on him, has absolutely stepped up in cases like that. Hopefully he's going to be able to stay healthy, take advantage of things like that. That's, of course, what you want to see for a young player. But, hey, listen, in the time that he's played last season, he showed tremendous growth. And now, being a player that's going to have a player like Wemby down there with him, it's going to go big ways for his development and hopefully for Wemby's development as well. That San Antonio Spurs team, you got to look at that team. That's going to be a team that's really good, really quick. And so, we'll see how that development goes, especially down there. But shout out to Devin Vassell for getting his money. Now, next up is a player that, his future, people think may be a little bit more murkier, right? Maybe he does end up leaving the Philadelphia 76ers, but Joel Embiid has now made his decision to play in the 24 Olympics with Team USA. Now, keep in mind, he could have played with the French national team. It looks like he was deciding between a couple of different countries that he could have realistically played for, but he's now going to be joining Team USA. He made that decision, and this is huge for Team USA in the Olympics next year, right? When you look at like the big depth down there, right? The fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. is still a really good young quality big, but had some issues in his first in the international play. You bring in Joel Embiid, who's now committed to the team, right? He had the option to play between U.S., France, and Cameroon, so he makes that decision to join Team USA. We already got word that players like LeBron James and others may go ahead and join. And so, Steph Curry and, those players like that, it's good to have Joel Embiid down there as well. He's already locked in. We'll see what that means. Can the Team USA redeem themselves after what this FIBA international run was this past summer? We'll end up seeing. But, hey, Joel Embiid is going to be on Team USA. And I think that's going to be good for the team. Now, next up, Paul George made comments on his contract extension with the Los Angeles Clippers, and he said this: "If it's up to me, absolutely. I'm back home with a great organization, an organization that believes in winning and does everything they can to win. Why not? Why not retire here? It would be a dream if I could ride it out, hopefully compete for multiple championships while I'm a Clipper, be able to say I played at home and did something great at home. So yeah, that's first on my agenda." Paul George is set up to sign a potentially 4-year, $220 million contract with the Los Angeles Clippers if he does re-up for the max amount of money that he's able to get. And as you know, contracts are rising across the NBA. When you look at Devin Vassell's contract, Paul George's contract, I know a lot of these numbers, older, more historical basketball fans are going to look at those numbers and kind of balk at it. But these are numbers that are going to become more the norm, right? When you look at Devin Vassell and what he's going to get paid, right, $29.3 million at the most there, you're going to start seeing those contracts become more and more the norm. And the $100 million contracts are going to be almost the norm as well if you're signing a 4 or 5-year extension. And then you look at Paul George now, right? Over 4 years can get $220 million. We'll see if he ends up signing that contract extension for that full amount. The Los Angeles Clippers are a team that I think people still look at when they're fully healthy. A team that absolutely can compete, but you have those questions on when are they going to be fully healthy? Are they going to be fully healthy at the right time? Are they going to be able to maintain being fully healthy? Those are questions that are going to surround that Los Angeles Clippers team until they prove otherwise, right? And so this is a team that's coming into the season with expectations if they can stay healthy. A solid team overall. When you look at their starting five in Russ, Paul, Kawhi, then Batum and Zubac kind of filling out that starting five with Terrence Mann coming off the bench with Kenyon Martin Jr. down there, who's their new acquisition, who, still definitely has something that he can give. Mason Plumlee, Marcus Morris Jr., Sr. coming off the bench as well. So this is a team that can do something. They got Bones Highland down there too. I almost forgot about Bones Highland. Not a perfect player by any stretch of the imagination, but is a player that can give some things, right? So they have the players there that can perform. The bigger question is are they going to perform, right? Are they going to be able to stay healthy? And I'm sure that's something that the Los Angeles Clippers are also weighing with this contract extension with Paul George looming, right? And, if both sides are motivated to get it done, one thing we've seen across the NBA, they're going to get it done, right? It may not be for that number. That's why I say that's the max he's able to get. But we'll see if he's able to get that ultimate number. Like, I like the Clippers team. Again, like I said, when fully healthy, but I don't think anybody bets on full health when it comes to this Clippers team anymore. They got questions up and down that roster. I think the fit questions too are some there as well, but you like to think players are going to work it out and figure it out as they go, right? So, ultimately I want to hear from you guys though. What do you guys think about the Paul George pending extension? Do you think that is still value contract for a player like Paul George, who is getting up there, right? But still a very productive player is Paul George. 23.8 points per game last year, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 45% in shooting overall from the field. He is turning 33 years. I mean, he is 33 years old, though. Just turned 33 back in May. So, you got to look at that as well and ask yourself the question, you're going to be able to get close enough to what your goals are, and are you going to get enough games out of that, right? 56 games played last year for Paul George. Paul George has not played over 60 games since he joined the Los Angeles Clippers. That is that is huge reason for concern, right? We've talked about before, like kind of that new barrier looking at a full season is kind of 65 games, right? If you play above 65 games, I think you're close enough to being able to call that a full season. Not being able to scratch 60 games in over 4 years, right? That's concerning, right? That's concerning for any team, right? The risk reward factor is something that you absolutely have to factor in. He's not getting any younger either. You're talking about a player in Paul George who, other than the year he had that injury, you're talking about 80, 70 games played, 75, 79, 81, right? You're looking at that. And for a player then to not be able, even his 2 years in OKC, 79 and 77 games played. When you're not getting even 60 games, it makes it a tall order and a tall test to be able to sign a player for that amount of money. And so it's going to be up to Paul George to see if he can stay healthy, to see if the Clippers are going to get that the value they feel out of a contract like that. But they also may be inclined to give it to him because is any free agent going to be coming to the Clippers, right? Can they afford to lose him? That's where you're going to start seeing some teams have to make really tough decisions with the new contract sizes in the NBA that, contracts that used to be looked at as a foregone conclusion with giving an extension. You're going to have to really question that. You're going to probably see a few years of, these players that aren't really superstars, right? Which Paul George can be a star level player, but he's not a superstar, right? But you're going to be looked at that players that used to just, yeah, we're going to extend him because of what he brings to the team. You now have to look at that and maybe try to factor in a little bit more and think about that risk reward factor of that. So, we'll end up seeing with that. Let me know what you guys think on that down below. But that's my time. Make sure you guys are following the show at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything basketball related. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.